that's a lifetime we've been spending out here. And I remember that first record, Alice's Restaurant, came out in 67. The thing I remember most about it was that we had recorded it in a studio in New York with a live audience right in the studio. So there was no like take two or nothing. And we had a live audience that was not invited so much by me, but by the producers and people like that, you know, and every one of those people that had been invited had heard the song at least 100 times, so there was nothing funny about it to them. That's what I hear when I hear that record. It took us long to record it as it did to sing it. That was about it, you know. What's that? Technical glitch. My vocal line? Want to do something about it? It's okay with me. I'm from the 60s. Drug going around your brain never hurt anything. That didn't do it. I was from the technician. New cable? Okay, cool. Turn me on, see what happens. Thank you. That's kind of cool. We don't anticipate technical glitches, but we love them. Makes the night more memorable. Remember the night, when Thousand Oaks fell? Anyway, where was I? I forgot where I was. Not that it matters. No, I wasn't there. I'd gone beyond it. I was on to the next record because I vowed after making Alice that the next record we were going to make was going to be in a studio without anybody so that we could actually do the song at least a few times to make sure we got it right. And not only that, we were having fun in those days in the studio. We were, playing tracks backwards and all kinds of crazy stuff just because we could. And so we were working on this next project for, a few weeks, whatever it was. And frankly, it was awful, but that had never stopped me. And so I came in the studio one morning, and the head guy met me at the door and said, "Arlo, we have some bad news. We knew you were coming in early this morning, and so we didn't put away the tapes on the machines last night. And while we were all sleeping last night, Halley's Comet came over New York and erased all the tapes. And I was like 19, I said, whoa. I believed him. Not only that, he said, we have to get a record to Warner Brothers in 2 weeks, and so we can't finish your studio project. We have to go out and record some live shows and, hand them whatever we can come up with. And so we did the 2 worst nights of my life to this day. That's saying a lot. And we put that out as a record, which I still don't allow in the house. On the 3rd record, I decided that was enough of that. I left the East Coast and came out here to California, and I met some incredible people in the studio. We met, guys like Ry Cooder, Chris Etheridge, Clarence White, some really great players and guys that I just loved playing with. It was so exciting for me. And we made a record, it was called Running Down the Road. And in order to sort of put a visual on it, they wanted me to take some pictures of me on a motorcycle or something. And I said, wait a minute, man, I don't have a bike out here. And to the rescue came Mike Nesmith of the Monkees. He let me borrow his Triumph at Bonneville, and we rode around, this part of the country for a while they took pictures and stuff like that, and we used one of them on the cover of that record. Flash forward now, about 2 years ago, we was putting together a cross-country motorcycle run, and we had it all sort of planned out. We were going to call it Running Down the Road or something, because that was the last time somebody had a picture of me on a motorcycle. It was back in '69. And so we had all these pictures, with the title and where we were going to go and who's going to talk to and all. We were going to film the whole thing. At that same time, we were booking this tour that we're on right now tonight. And we didn't used to have to name tours. Somehow it used to be, Here He Comes Again. And that was good enough. And but then the venues wanted to know, what is he going to do different this time? And I couldn't remember what I'd done the last time, so it was a good thing to have a title that would help me reference where we were as well. And so we thought, hey, we already got all the promo for the Running Down the Road motorcycle run. Let's just call it Running Down the Road. We can use the same pictures. And so they did that. They started booking this tour. Then the motorcycle run thing didn't happen. And we were stuck with the tour with that name. And which meant I had to learn that song again. Running down the road. came out in '69. That was a good year for me. And I remember because in August, we did the Woodstock Festival. That was fun. And then in September, bought an old farm so I could have a field to be out standing in. Got married in October. November, the movie of Elvis's Restaurant came out. That was a hell of a time. That was like a whirlwind. And like I said earlier, it's hard to remember all of it. As a matter of fact, I remember because we was finishing up a tour just 2 years ago. We was just north of San Francisco, and I'd run into an old buddy of mine I hadn't seen for years, a guy named Wavy Gravy. And if that name rings a bell, it's because he was the announcer in the Woodstock movie. The guy saying, "Don't take the brown asses, man." But I love the guy, you know, and so we pulled a tour bus around the back of the venue, and there he was, just standing there big as life a couple of years back. And I got off the tour bus, gave him a big hug, we sat down on a bench, he was trying to reminisce. Neither one of us could remember anything. So we just sat there looking at each other, and eventually we got to talking about what was at that time the upcoming 45th anniversary of the Woodstock Festival. And we was getting annoyed because we found out that they was trying to put together some kind of an event, reunion, whatever it was, and we just thought it was wrong. I mean, 45 is great for a birthday, anniversary, something like that. You don't celebrate Woodstock on the 45th. You'll wait for the 50th. And so we talked ourselves into a feeding frenzy about it, and we called up the promoters right then and there. We said, "What the hell are you guys thinking?" And they said, "Well, we was thinking about the 50th, but well, you might all be dead by then." He had a point. I remember the 40th, that was bad enough. By that time, it was well entrenched in 24/7 news, people talking all the time on TV. And just prior to the 40th anniversary of the Woodstock Festival, they was trying to get a hold of anybody that had anything to do with it for their big 30-second story on the subject. And I didn't want to talk to them because they was all asking the same stuff. It was like, "Arlo, what was it like, man? Get in Woodstock, dude." And I thought, well, first of all, they don't actually talk like that except to me, and that was annoying. And I just told them almost the same thing anyhow. I said, "Hey, I just remember getting there." Not a whole interview worth. I remember earlier that year, though, I had bought a new car in the spring of '69. It was one of these Checkers. And they used to use them for taxis in some of the big cities because you could fit entire families in one car. And I thought, wow, man, if that's true, I could put the whole band in that thing. So sure enough, it was me and all my guitars, and a guy with a big double bass back in those days and all his stuff, a guy with a full set of drums, all his stuff, another friend that played guitar, all his stuff, guitars, all their girlfriends, their stuff, and we hadn't even opened the trunk yet. I missed that. And we went to Woodstock sort of like that. I remember because the closer we got, of course, the more traffic there was, until it finally come to a dead standstill. Everybody got out and just started walking. It was still miles away. And so they rerouted us to some motel, and they was going to fly us into the site in a helicopter. It was the only way to get there. And I was excited. I was a kid. I'd never been in nothing like that. So it was me and Richie Havens, some others. And we get in this helicopter, and the thing takes off, and the door stayed open. And no matter how high we went, there was people as far as the eye could see in every direction. And in the chopper with us was 2 New York State troopers, one on either side of the open door. And on one side there was a big John Wayne kind of guy. On the other was a little Barney Fife kind of guy. And they was looking down there just the same as us. And I remember the big one looked at the little one and said, "There's a lot of hippies down there." The little one said, "Yep." The big one said, I bet they're doing lots of illegal stuff." The little one said, "Yep." The big one said, "Well, I'm not going down there, nothing are you?" The little one said, "Nope." That's when I realized that we was going to have a pretty good time at that festival. I was not mistaken. Got there on the first day of that 3-day event. I was under the impression I was playing on the second day, so I figured I had the day off. And I'm walking around backstage saying hi to people like what you would imagine. And eventually I'll wander out on this big field with hundreds of thousands of other people, mud, rain, total catastrophes of all kinds. And I was doing what everybody else was doing. So at some point later that afternoon, I had a serious case of the munchies. Need to get something to eat, something to drink. It was nothing. So I thought, I'll go backstage. So I wandered backstage looking for food. They didn't have nothing there either. All they had backstage was 147 cases of champagne they're saving for the end of the event. And by the end of the first evening, that was gone. I don't remember how many cases I was personally responsible for. But between that and the other stuff we was doing that day, it came as a surprise when somebody come up and said, Arlo, you got to play now, man. I can't play now, man. I'm not even here now, man. I'm coming tomorrow. They said, no, you're here now, man. You got to play now, man. I said, I can't play now, man. I can't walk now, man. I said, we don't care about that. Richie Haven's been up playing for hours. There's nobody else. You got to play now, man. And I was too young to realize I could have said no. So, grab a big 12-string guitar, walk out on this huge stage, and in the middle of that big stage, they had a circular stage built right in. So while the guys in front was playing, you could set guys up behind them. And when they was done playing up front, you just turn the stage around, not be wasting time breaking down the first band, setting up the second. It was a great idea. I mean, it didn't work, but it was a great idea. And in the middle of the circular stage, they had a big hole for all the wires and the mic lines and cables, all that stuff. They didn't tell me about the hole. I wasn't looking for the hole. I'm looking at more people than I knew I'd ever see again in my life at one time. And I was looking at them like you could back then, each one individually. That's when I remember falling through time and space. And the most unbelievable thing happened. I moved through the molecular structure of the wood itself. And I rematerialized on the other side of the hole, on stage, almost completely intact. That was my memory of it.